Part 3.
You will hear a conversation between two students discussing plans for an upcoming geology field trip. First, you have some time to read through questions 21 to 26. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 26.
Good morning, Sharon.
Hi, Eric. I was thinking about where we should go to collect samples for our geology project.
Yes, we should start planning that field trip soon. Have you come up with any ideas?
I'm not sure about it, as I've not been there, but the Laxford Bray Road section in Scotland would be a great place. I guess they were cutting through this hill to build a section of road in the past, and it revealed all these interesting colourful layers of stone of all different types.
Yes, that's a good idea. I've been there, and it has some great examples of layering and the processes of rock formation. But unfortunately, they don't allow visitors to take samples, and that's something we will need to do. We can certainly take some photographs of geological formations there, though.
Ah, I didn't realise they don't allow sampling at Laxford Bray. Well, we could take a quick visit there and then go to another nearby location. I was thinking about Siccar Point. It has quite a lot of fantastic coastal rock formations. You can actually see examples of the formation of mountains and other complex rock structures, all made in a variety of different stone. It was great to see all of them in just one location.
And what about sampling there?
Yes, they do allow collecting of samples from the site, but you have to buy special permits for school or research groups. I think it's only £20 per group, so that's definitely an advantage of that site.
Yes, I like that idea. I was at Siccar Point in the early 2000s and again 5 years ago. Both times I was very impressed with the geological variety. I think we can get some fine specimens.
What should the focus be for the sampling?
Well, maybe we can gather specimens of rock that have been formed through one or more of the three primary types of geological formation: erosion, deposit, and folding, which should all be available at Siccar Point.
Right, that should be straightforward enough.
But we will have to be careful not to damage any formations or the natural surroundings when collecting samples.
Absolutely. I know there are certain areas that are off limits for sample collecting, so we will need to find out where they are and avoid them. And I think there are also guidelines we need to follow with regard to the quantity of specimens we can take and removal procedures as well. We can probably find that information on their website.
Before you hear the rest of the discussion, you can read through questions 27 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 27 to 30.
And there is already quite a lot of research on the site that we can review before we go on the trip. I think it might be a good idea to review some of James Hutton's work and include some of his study findings in our project. He discovered Siccar Point's geological significance back in the 1700s.
That's right. He studied geological formations at the site. He wrote a lot about folding and deposition processes and how they created the stone structures at Siccar Point. You know, we might want to focus on those processes for our project.
Yes, that would work. We can probably add the erosion process too. There are lots of examples of wind and water erosion there. It's fascinating to see how the elements have created so many interesting shapes.
In that case, We should probably include other academic sources in addition to James Hutton. What about the research of James Hall and John Playfair? They worked directly with James Hutton and helped in mapping the area, focusing on specific types of formations, such as those created by erosion, because the variety at the site was so vast. I think we can include their findings in addition to Hutton's work.
Also, didn't Ian Stewart do research at Siccar Point?
You're right. Yes, he's even made some documentary videos about the significance of the site.
Yes, I watched those. They were quite informative and included a lot of current geological information on the site. So, it might be good to include some of Stewart's research for a contemporary viewpoint.
Yes, we should do that. Anyway, I don't have anything to do tomorrow morning, so I can write up the plan summary. I know you're busy Monday, but maybe on Tuesday you can start collecting research data from other academic sources about the geological formations at the site. I think Professor Franklin asked for the summary by Friday, and if she approves, we can go ahead and make the necessary arrangements for collecting specimens.
Sure, I can see what other sources I can find in addition to the ones we discussed.
Okay, well, let's meet again tomorrow afternoon to get everything together before the deadline.
That's fine with me. Just let me know when you're...
That is the end of Part 3. You now have 30 seconds to check your answers to Part 3.